It don't matter how much I look out of that window, the weather don't change. Do you ever sit there out the window, looking out the window, hoping the rain's going to stop? I ain't got a choice. Wish me luck. I'm going to go out, and when I get back, we're going to have a catch up.
Look, lasagna, and that is too hot to eat. In fact, I think you could actually boil an egg in that. That is so hot, it is ridiculous. Anyway, what a difficult week. Welcome back everybody to the channel. How are we all doing? Let me know in the comments, and while you're down there, tell me, has your week gone a little bit off-piste? This week for me has been a nightmare, and you know what, it sums it up, the fact that we are having to film this inside because it's chucking it down still outside. And I thought I wanted to talk to you this week really, mainly about, I think it's a good week to do it, about just life and marathon training, because this week life has just got in the way of my marathon training, and I think it's really, it's an interesting time because everybody's, or not everybody, what am I talking about, 40? But a lot of people are now marathon training for London, Brighton, Manchester towards the end of the year, or Dorney Lakes, or whatever, York, whatever marathon you're doing, whether you're actually around the world. We've got people in the US and elsewhere in the world. Let me know in the comments what you're training for. But now is the time when everybody's out there training, and this week, I kind of suffered, I think like all of you will, and if it's your first time doing sort of any block of training, you've got to kind of get used to this, that life can get in the way of your running. So as you all know, hopefully by now, I am in marathon training mode, ready for the London Virtual Marathon and Dorney Lakes Marathon in October. And this week, like I said, has been a real sort of up and down week. Just really busy. Clubs, work, everything else, and yeah, I've just been struggling to get my runs in. I've been lucky enough that the clubs, I've been able to get my runs in at the clubs, which is good, and focused this week on a fair amount of speed and consistency. But my long run I couldn't get done this week. I blame Toby for that, by the way, because he's not around this week. But yeah, it's been a tricky one. So I ended up doing like a tempo session instead of a long run, and then adding mileage over the weekend to that, to try and get some form of mileage in the legs. But it's been hard, and I think that's the thing I wanted to sort of share this week with you guys, is that you're not alone if you're struggling to get runs in, if you're struggling to get your marathon training in. But I would say to you, my nose is peeling, look. But I would say to you, you've got to try if you can and be selfish where possible. And this is the thing, right? Because marathon training, you've got to be selfish. And what do I mean about selfish? Well, you've got to make time for your runs. You've got to make time for your long run efforts. You've got to make time for those speed sessions. You've got to make time to rest. And I think people underestimate that with marathon training, how much actually, how sort of, what's the best? I'm really struggling. It's because I got out of the hot shower after that wet run. But yeah, I think people underestimate how selfish you need to be. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think if the more sort of selfish you can be with your training, I think the better it can actually be for you. Now, what do I mean by that? Carving out that time and making sure it's a quality run is so important, because what tends to happen is that you just dart out, get 3 miles in, and actually you haven't achieved anything. So what I've tried to do this week, and that's what I want to talk about is I've tried to make the sessions that I have done and been able to do high quality sessions. So, all right, my volume's been lower, but the quality has been on par, if not higher. Do you see what I mean? Do you follow what I'm saying? Let me know in the comments if you agree, disagree, that kind of thing. But this is the thing with marathon training. It is 16, 17 weeks for a reason, right? Because you are going to have weeks where you sort of miss a bit here and there, where you may be a little bit under the weather or whatever, but you can't get stressed about it. And I still find myself getting stressed about it. I was stressed today looking out that window because I was umming and ahhing. I still blame Toby, because if Toby was here, I probably would have gone out and run and done my long run to a degree. But yeah, you've just got to accept that life is going to get in the way of your training. So update on how I'm feeling. Leg is getting better, people. Good news, the leg is getting better. I would say I am running 90% pain-free now. I would say is a fair amount. We won't know until we really go through that rotation. If you've not seen the video, check it out in terms of my sort of 16, 18, 20 rotation. But we won't know until I've completed that, where we are in terms of, one, how the leg is, and two, what the goals are going to be. Ideally, I'm still hunting for that 3:45, and sitting here today, I feel confident enough that I'm going to be able to do it. But we don't know until we get into those sort of really heavy mileage weeks, and then we can sort of compound that with all the speed stuff. So overall, apart from sort of this week, which is why I wanted to talk about this week, where life has got in the way, I'm quite slightly pleased with how I've been getting on. I found the consistency, I found efficiencies where I need to in my training, and like I said earlier, in terms of quality, I'm happy with the quality. So I've got a reasonable base, I think, to carry on with. I'll keep you updated as we go through on this journey in October. But yeah, I say today's a funny old video, really, and I think me sitting here in the studio sort of sums it up, really, that I've tried to grab the vlog and put the vlog together on a shoestring in like 2 minutes flat, because I simply don't have time. And I think that sums up my week, sums up my marathon training this week, and sums up where I am in general. So yeah, I think that's it. You're up to speed. But I'm really interested to know, for maybe you guys who have been through training blocks and stuff, like, you know, do you suffer like I am this week? How do you cope with it? You know, share some tips below, because people may be watching this who are doing, you know, a marathon for the first time. So share some tips down below. But my biggest tip to you, if you are, you know, doing your first marathon, or you are coming across this, what I've got, don't worry about it. You're still going to cross the line. You're still going to get the same medal as everybody else. It doesn't matter. Just, you know, don't try and catch up. Just focus on the quality and get your runs done. Well, you can. Right, I'm going to eat this lasagna. Has it cooled down, people? It actually doesn't look too bad. So I'm going to eat this, and I'll catch you guys next week.